We're live? Yeah, we're live. So, hello, lovely people. My name is Shubham Bhatnagar, and DSC Kit is back with another Dev Talk. And we have a very special guest with us today. He is a content creator with more than 500,000 views on YouTube, and he is also the co founder of Career Keeda. Please let us welcome Mr. Deepak Pareek. Hi, Deepak.
Firstly, thank you. Hi, Shubham. How are you doing?
So, I'm doing great. So, Deepak, we today we'll be talking about content creation and building a personal brand.
Right.
Yeah. So we
All right.
our viewers
All
will be
right.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you so much, Shubham, for the introduction. I'll introduce myself a little more. My name is Deepak Pareek. I am from Calcutta. Uh, with regard to what I do and what I've done earlier, I'll just give you a brief introduction. I am from Calcutta. My schooling was entirely from Calcutta, from Don Bosco School, Park Circus. I then, with regard to my college, I pursued BCom honors from St. Davis College, Calcutta. After my graduation, I started. So during my graduation, in my second year of graduation, I started this organization, this company called Career Keeda, which is basically a youth organization which focuses on practical training and skill development. That was in my second year of graduation, when I was 19. Post which, when I left college, 1 year after leaving college, I started creating content online. So, with regard to creating content, I create myth-busting, thought-provoking content for the youth of the country. With regard to creating content, it could be anything. It could be like creating. So there are a lot of myths, stereotypes, misconceptions, taboos in our country. So while I was so that's my introduction. Getting straight away into the topic, which is content creation and building a personal brand. With regard to content creation, this things are pretty simple. Also, not very simple as it looks on the screen, because a lot of hard work goes into behind the scenes. What we see on camera is not how easy as it looks in real life. So, with regard to content, I think when I was researching about content, um, 2 years, 3 years back, it was fairly because I did not know what to create. I was brainstorming about a lot of ideas. It could have been about cricket, it could have been about music, it could have been about anything. So while researching about a lot of topics, I came across this topic called Mythbusters, which intrigued me. So I delved into more into it and thought let's see what this is all about, and let's know about let's know more about what Mythbusters is all about. So I started thinking, brainstorming, and researching extensively about what exactly Mythbusters are and how many myths and stereotypes do we have. So there are a lot of myths with regard to our Indian society. Real life myths. I'm not only talking about when a black cat crosses the road, it means it's unlucky. I'm not only talking about that, but I'm also talking about myths in real life or stereotypes in real life. For example, the problem of log kya kahenge. What will people say? So this is a myth in real life, because people will say irrespective of whatever you do in life. It could have been, it could have been. So when I started creating content, when I put out my first video, um, I was getting trolled. As soon as I put out my first video, I clearly remember the date. I put out the video on 4th of August 2018, and at 9 p.m. and at 12 a.m. that night, I got told. I knew that this is something like this will happen, but I did not know that it's gonna happen so early in my YouTube journey. So I'm glad it happened, because it taught me a lot of things. So I got trolled in that video, saying that why are you making all of this? Why are you wasting your dad's money? Why are you wasting your own money? Why are you wasting your time and efforts in doing all of this? Why are you the only one who wants to bring change and change the people and create an impact and all of that? So that day it affected me. It affected me to another level, because I just started creating content. It was my first video on that very day, and on that very day I started getting hate. So I got a little demotivated, and one of my content creator friends from Calcutta called me up and said that how are you? So I told him, you very well know how I am. you've seen what's going on Facebook and YouTube. What needs to be done? So he just gave me one advice. He said, just keep on creating content. All of this will happen. There will always be people who will speak something negative about what you're doing. It could be for your benefit. It could be for their benefit as well. And now honestly, you can definitely say what's the difference between hate and constructive criticism, because it's solely on the basis of what language they're using. So yeah, that pretty much happened on the first day, and I did not know how to react. So I pretty much stopped creating content for a week. I got a little scared, but then things started getting taking shape. I started creating content, more and more content. I tried a lot of things. So with regard to content creation, it's pretty simple. Um, Firstly, I wanted to know from you guys, what do you know about content creation? So if you've got any questions about content creation, just put them in the comment section, and we will answer that as and when we receive the questions. With regard to content, it's very simple. So when I mean, for people who want to enter this industry, the content creation industry, or people who are, or rather who are influencers, who are part of this industry already, you will know that it's difficult to create content, because this requires a lot of your time. This requires a lot of consistency, because imagine this one thing. You might you start creating content and you're not consistent enough. You create one. Suppose your timeline is like, you create one video for a week, one video per week, and so that means 4 videos in a month. And then for the next 2 months you don't create videos. How do you plan to hook on the viewers, right? So I've made that mistake earlier in my life. I've been inconsistent at times. I've been very inconsistent with in the middle. So I know how that feels. I know I've lost a lot of people who used to watch my videos, and they used to come in on my Instagram DM saying, where's the video? We're waiting for another video. You're not consistent enough. Why are we following you? And all of that. So all of this keeps on happening. With regard to content, it's very simple. Whatever. So if you want to enter this industry, firstly, it's very simple. You have to understand what content you want to make. So it could be comedy, it could be music, it could be dance, it could be comedy, it could be anything. It could be anything, right? So it solely depends on what you're good at. So if you're good at, say, creating music, like one of my good friends is a musician, is a YouTuber who sings very well. So he sings, and he's very good at it. So he sings. He has this YouTube channel where he's singing a lot of songs and taking that forward. There's one of my friends who's creating motivational content online. So there are a lot of aspects with regard to content creation as well. It solely depends on what you want or what you're good at. So you could be good at music, you could be good at dancing, you could be good at singing, you could be good at beatboxing, you could be good at anything. I knew that I was good at a lot of things, but I did not know what I could create. So while I was researching about content, I found this very interesting topic called Mythbusters. And what better way to start off with the topic than talking about certain myths in India. For example, "Log kya kahenge" and "Billi rasta kaat jayegi to kya hoga." And recently, I was doing this TED talk last year in November in Bangalore, where I was speaking about how we can build an India free of stereotypes. And I was speaking about this example where I was during my class 12 pre-board examinations. What happened was, as soon as I was leaving home, my mom called me from behind saying, "Deepak, come inside." And if you know that there's a very common misconception or a myth that's there, that if you're leaving home and if somebody calls you from behind, then you're gonna have a bad day, or that day is doomed, and it's supposed to bring bad luck. So, and that day was my pre-board exam. So I thought, now that if the exam goes bad, it's not my problem, because you've called me from behind. That's not up to me now. So that happened, and then when I was leaving for my exam, en route my exam, I see a black cat cross the road. Uh, so so then again, if you know that all of this keeps on happening, that whenever you see that people start creating, that happened and the black cat crossed the road. So it is said that if a black cat crosses your path, you're supposed to have a bad day. Then when my mom stopped me from leaving that time, and when she called me again, she said, "Dahi shakar khaya kya?" right? So again, one of the popular myths or misconceptions or whatever Indian thoughts or myths or whatever you can say is that if you are going for a good work, if you're going leaving for some good work, then please have some sweets before leaving. Otherwise, your work might not be as successful as you expect it to be. So all of these things happened. Obviously, my exam didn't go well because of all of this, and I started introspecting why my exam didn't go well. So I came back and realized that मम्मी मेरे को टोक दी अंदर बाहर जाने से, and I didn't have dahi shakar while leaving. The black cat crossed the road. Maybe, just maybe, I should have studied for the exam as well. So pretty funny that way. So I think there are a lot of myths and misconceptions in our Indian society. So I started creating content with regard to that. With regard to content, I think that, so I'll straight away get into um, delve deep into the topic. So this happened with regard to content. I think it's fairly simple to say that we need to document rather than creating, because we're getting questions. So if we're getting questions, we can take a questions whenever we can.
Okay, so why don't you just go on with your story, and then we can come up with the questions.
No, I'm done with the story, so we can take on the questions.
Okay, then we'll start with the first one. It is from Akash Sharma. He wants to ask, what are your favorite social media accounts that help you get inspiration from content?
All right, thank you so much, Akash. So for the question, firstly, I so I follow a lot of content creators because there are people, because this is my field, and I've been following a lot of people for inspiration, for not just inspiration, for to see the kind of content that they're doing, so that I get an idea as to what I need to do, whether I need to up my content game, how do I need to change my content, whether it's the upload style, whether it's the distribution style, how do they upload, how do they distribute content, a lot of things that goes into simply content creation. It is not just creating, thinking of a video, thinking of an idea for a video and then uploading it, right? There are a lot of things that goes into the mind. So with regard to my favorite channels, with regard to getting inspiration, or not just inspiration but getting a lot of insights from them, it will be Ranveer Alabadia, if you know of him. His channel's name is Beer Biceps. So he's one guy I take inspiration from. Then there are one of my personal favorite. I've put so for people who know me, for people who follow me on my Instagram, one of the major entrepreneurs and influencers I follow is Gary Vaynerchuk. I call him Guruji. In all my, if you follow me, you'll know that in all my feeds and stories, wherever I put a post about Gary V, I say Guruji, because he's one man I follow, and I rather, even for to show even for today's live session, I was looking up for content ideas for Gary V's channel. So I think he's one guy who inspired me a lot with regard to creating content. And also, so he basically talks about entrepreneurship. He talks about creating content and building an influence and all of that. So yeah, I think these are things that creates a lot of impact. Gary V is one person I look up to. Gary V is, he talks about gratitude and kindness and happiness, and how you need to put out more and more content with regard to whatever you're doing. So if you're underconfident about putting up more content, he talks about why you're underconfident. If it's facing the camera, so people have this misconception that content only means video content. No, content means audio. Content can be in a lot of forms. It could be video content. It could be audio content, which is essentially podcast. It could be writing, which is a blog. It could essentially be anything. It could be as simple as an Instagram story, right? He recently put out this deck, 64-page deck, where he mentioned that how you can create 64 pieces of content a day. So I think all of these content is providing for free, which is pretty value additional. And if he's providing for free, we know that he's someone who wants us to take value from his inspiration and his knowledge. So I think Gary V is one person I look up to with regard to creating content, with regard to practical insights from his business, because he's someone who is from the former Soviet Union, currently Russia, So he's seen a lot of things. He was a part of he got into business very early on in his life. When he was I think 13 or 14, he started selling wine with his father. His father had a wine business. From $3 million to he to $60 million the valuation of the business, and then he left the business at 34. He started VaynerMedia at 34, and now he is 45 plus, and now he's running an excessively successful digital marketing agency. So I think that's an inspirational story, and I take inspiration from Gary Vee. So I think that answers the question.
So our next question is again from Akash Sharma, and he wants to ask how to deal with negative comments.
All right. Thank you so much, Akash, for the question once again. Firstly, negative comments, as I mentioned, there are two ways to deal with negative comments. One is delve deep into the negative comments, get into an argument with the comments, saying, so if there's one person who's saying, why are you wasting your time? Why do you want to create change? Why do you want to make change? And all of that, just you can directly reply to him, saying what's your problem, and shut him up in a negative manner. And secondly, just completely ignore it. I know that you cannot ignore it because there are people, you've got eyes, you've got your ears open 24/7, because when you are creating content, you are completely hooked on to social media. Whenever you put out a video, so this happened with me. Whenever I put on a video, I see what the comments I'm getting for an hour or hour and a half. I am totally hooked on to that piece of content. So whenever I put out a video, I see what comments I'm getting. Obviously I get negative comments. There are a lot of negative comments that I get, but that's okay. That's completely fine. People. So with regard to, I think comments, it's very simple. There are two ways. One is you can reply to them in any manner whatsoever. You can shut them down by saying anything that you want to. Secondly, completely ignore them. I know that ignoring them is a little difficult, because you know that it becomes difficult as a content creator to ignore whatever you're getting, because you have your first reaction is just to reply to them, but then it's okay. Sometimes it might get to you. The comment might be so brutal that you can't help yourself but comment. But my experience says if you refrain from commenting, you'll be in a better mind space, because there are a lot of people who can say a lot of brutal things online, and that might affect your mental health as well. When you're creating content, your creativity is something that has to be on point, that needs to be on point. So I think dealing with negative comments has been, I'm learning dealing with negative comments slowly and steadily. Two ways, as I mentioned, to sum it up. One is to reply to them in any manner whatsoever, and rather the second method, that's what I prefer, is ignoring them, because that affects your mental space. And I think, and to just conclude the answer to that in the last 30 seconds, I think there will be, as soon as you start creating content, when you get into this content space for a while, you will know that there will be a lot of people who will give you constructive criticism and who will give you negative feedback. There are two ways. So you can definitely tell by the kind of language that is being said, whether it's constructive feedback, whether it's criticism, whether it's plain negative comment and a troll. So solely on the basis of language, you can say whether it's negative, whether they're abusing you on camera, or they're abusing you in the comment section. You will be able to tell that that's a negative comment. And if they're telling you that you can improve this is something that I didn't like about your video, this is something you can improve on, and I think this is something that you can get better off. So I think that's the constructive feedback, and that you should take that. So telling the difference between a negative comment and between a negative comment and a comment that's providing you constructive feedback, and that comes only with experience, I think. So I think, yeah, that answers your question.
Amrit Bash wants to ask, what is your favorite myth-busting channel of the West, or so to say, of the other part of the world?
There is one channel I've been following, which is called Debunked. There's one channel called Debunked. I've been following their content as well. They're doing some fantastic job with their content. So there was one video which said that if you drop a coin from a very high altitude building, and if it falls on any person's head, he might die. If it's a myth or if it's if it's reality, we don't know, right? So they're doing some fantastic content with regard to myth busting. With regard to West, I don't follow a lot of myth busting content because honestly, I have not come across a lot of myth busting content channels from the West or from this part of the country as well. I have not seen a lot of myth busting content channels, so to say. So I think one channel that I'd like to say is Debunked. That's one channel I've been following. Yeah.
So Manzar wants to ask how to inspire others.
Thank you so much, Manzar, for the question. Yeah, inspiration, I think it comes from a space, it comes from your mind space as to how positive you are in your life. I don't know whether, you cannot inspire others if you are, if I don't believe that you can inspire others if you yourself are not inspired, if you yourself are not, motivated and all of that. So I think one of the things that should help you inspire others is your work and your journey. I think your work and your journey will automatically inspire others to take up what you've done. So, for example, Gary Vee. I said, why is Gary Vee my inspiration? Not just because he's very motivational and pumped up on stage or on camera. No, I get inspired by him because he has this positive vibe. He has this energy to it. Secondly, because of his journey. If you look at his journey, as I mentioned, he was with his father's wine business from a $3 million valuation to a 60 million. He took the business to a $60 million valuation and then left the job, quit out of that company, and then started his own business at 34. A lot of people have this thought process that why can he start business at 34? We've become older. Can we start business at 34? Right? So I think the journey itself inspires others. So if you do fantastic work with whatever you want, whatever you're doing, so you could be an engineer, you could be a doctor, you could be a singer, you could be a dancer. Your journey will inspire others to do what you want to do. So for example, if I'm creating content, if I'm speaking on stage, or if I'm speaking on a platform like TED or a Josh Talks, my journey will inspire others to do. If my journey is not inspirational, the journey doesn't create an impact on you, you will not get inspired. As I mentioned, motivation lasts for just 30 minutes. Right? I might motivate you. I might give you a motivation session right now on say creating content and all of that. But if you don't execute whatever I say on this live or any other social or any other speaking engagement, if you don't simply execute what I say, or if you don't simply execute to whatever people are saying, success. You will not. One thing is fair to say that your journey will inspire others, and nothing else. You might be inspirational for 2 days, but your journey, I think, will help you inspire others, and also the mind space you're in, whether you are positive, whether you have a positive outlook, or whether you are negative, right? So mind space and your journey and what the work that you do will automatically inspire others to take up what they want to do. So I think that answers Manjar's question.
Okay, so Pradyum has the same question as I do. Quality content update or regular content update?
Quality content update or regular content update? I don't believe in. So there's this debate whether you should upload more content more content. So more content or quality content, and not on a regular basis, right? I believe in quality content, but it's a big plus if you're able to provide quality content on a regular basis. That's a big positive. I don't know. So one of the YouTubers that inspires me, and the kind of work that she's doing is mostly sane. Or if you've heard of her, or you must have definitely heard of her. She's Prajakta Kohli. So I think the kind of consistency that she has with regard to her uploading videos and creating content is what inspires me. With regard to quality content update or regular content update, I think it's a big plus if you can upload quality content on a regular basis, but that does not happen. You might be very regular, and you might upload quality content initially, but then after a while that will get to you. This mind is a very tricky thing. You might have this brilliant idea about a video or a blog or an article or an audio podcast on one day, and the mind might completely not work on 2 days for 2 days at a stretch. In that case, what do you plan to do? So I think take your time with content. There is no hurry, but at the same time, have a content schedule. Uh, I think to answer that question, quality content is one thing I look at. For example, I'd like to show one of the videos that I worked very hard on. I'll share the screen. So Shubham, if you can manage.
Sure, sure.
So I think people are able to see the screen, right? Yeah. So this is my channel. I'm standing at 1.32K subscribers right now. When I started creating content, so this was one of the videos that I worked very hard on. So I'll show you the video. Wait, just hold on. This one of the videos I was creating. I worked very hard on that video, but that didn't click. For example, there was this video where so I'm not gonna play the video. I'm just gonna tell you the crux of it. This was one of the videos I worked very hard. This is Kya Bolti Public. So I was going to interview people. It was a social experiment. I was about to interview them on the street, asking whether India should play Pakistan after the Pulwama attack happened. But that didn't work. As you can see, I'm standing only at close to 350 views. Also, one of my videos that worked pretty well is this video called "This is Poetry." This is my first poem that I worked on, and this worked pretty well. This is standing at 50,000 views, and these are all organic views, right? So just goes on to show. I'll stop the screen sharing. Yeah, so just goes on to show that you might work very hard for a particular video, and that might completely fail. On the other hand, you might not expect a video to blast or all of a sudden. So take your time with regard to creating content. Sorry, मेरा room का AC नहीं चल रहा है, so I'm sweating a little. But whatever. So moving forward, I think with regard to creating content, if you can, you need to experiment a lot with regard to creating content. This mind is a very tricky thing with regard to churning out more and more content and being creative being at your creative best all the time. That doesn't happen, right? So if you can churn out quality content on a regular basis, that's a big plus. If not, then I stick to quality content rather being regular content on a regular basis. So I think that's pretty much what my psyche for creating content is.
Looks like Akash Sharma really wants to be a content creator someday. So his next question is, why is it so difficult to grow on Twitter?
See, it's difficult to grow on Twitter because so I'll take this example with regard to, so every social media platform has an algorithm to it, right? If YouTube works on an algorithm, Instagram works on a different algorithm, Facebook works on a different algorithm altogether, and Twitter works on a different algorithm altogether, right? You might put hashtags that might blast, that might not blast, right? Twitter, on the other hand, is very difficult because there are a lot of content creators who have not used Twitter on a very for content base. They use Twitter for probably sharing a news update. So all the artists and all the mega influencers and all the stars and all the journalists, you'll find that they are more active on Twitter, right? Because they are essentially not for content. Every platform has its own niche, has its own productivity, has its own utility. Twitter, people don't essentially market their videos on Twitter with regard to as content. They might do it, but they don't usually do it as content, right? It's difficult because a lot of people, because it's tough. It's difficult because it's tough, right? I'm not saying you cannot grow on Twitter, but you can grow on Twitter. It's difficult to grow on Twitter because everybody is doing because there's a lot of hate to it. all of those content. For example, you're creating a poetry video. Where do you think will it work? Also, there is this age demography that's there, right? You might see that there are 100. You might see you create a video on kids, so you have to see whether kids are actually there on Twitter. You have to see what kind of content you are creating, and whether that content is mixing with that platform. There are two things. One is the content that you're creating, and second is the distribution pattern to it, right? So I think that answers your question. With regard to content, it's difficult. It probably is difficult because there are a lot of people who are doing it, and secondly, it's difficult because your content might not work on Twitter. It might work on YouTube, for example, right? So I think with regard to content and with regard to distribution of content, I think that
Okay.
answers your question, Akash.
Ranu wants to ask, should a content creator engage in conflicted topics like the recent topics of the boys' locker room incident and so forth?
Okay. Thank you so much, Ranu Sharma, for the question. I don't. This might sound very awkward, but a lot of content, a lot of people feel that if you create controversial topics, videos on controversial videos on topics, then it might go viral, right? You might abuse somebody on video, and that video might go viral, but that might totally work against you, right? There is obviously a risk with regard to creating content on controversial topics, but it totally depends on the content creator, yeah, right? It totally depends on whether he wants to take that risk. With regard to the recent event that happened, the boys' locker room, um, there have been a lot of videos that have gone viral. For example, there is a lady whose video went viral. The Australian Indian lady who created this video, and that's gone viral. So it totally depends on whether you want to engage in controversial content or not. I personally don't engage in controversial content. Don't ask me the reason, but it totally depends on different people altogether. I personally don't engage in controversial content, but there are a lot of people who engage in these content. So it totally depends on you, yeah. Whether you feel there is a need to talk on topics that are actually there, then you might as well talk, and don't talk totally negative about the topic. For example, you might talk about a political topic, and then what may happen is that the political party might approach you saying, "Tu mereko ye kaise bol diya?" Right? That may also happen. I'm not saying that happens. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but that might happen. So it's on you whether you want to take that risk. If you ask me whether I create controversial content, I don't delve into controversial content. There are tons of content you can delve into. I personally don't delve into controversial content, but I don't want to take that risk. I think that answers your question, Ranu Sharma.
Aman wants to ask, does content creation only mean YouTube videos? What other way are there to be a content creator?
Aman, thank you for the question. Firstly, thank you for joining in the live session. No, content creation does not only mean creating YouTube videos. Absolutely not. As I mentioned, content creation means it could be a video. It could be in whatever form you're comfortable in. You could be comfortable in a video. So if video is something you're comfortable in, then probably creating videos on YouTube or on Snapchat or on Instagram or on Facebook might help. But if you're not confident on camera, then you might be good at writing, right? You might be good at writing stuff. You might be good at writing blogs. So you can write blogs. There are a lot of blogging websites, WordPress.com, and a lot of other blogging websites that are available in the market. You can write articles and then get famous. Firstly, you need to know why you're entering into this content creation industry. Whether it's for fame, whether it's something that you like and you want to monetize, whether it's your passion, what is it that you want to do about it, right? So place the why part before the what and the how. We'll get into the what and the how later. Firstly, why do you want to get into content creation is one thing that you need to focus on. When the why is clear, I think it not only means creating videos, it is in whatever you're comfortable in. You could be comfortable in writing. So you can create a blog post on, say, LinkedIn. LinkedIn right now is at an all-time high. LinkedIn and TikTok are two platforms that are providing maximum organic reach. The Facebook's algorithm is dead. Instagram's algorithm is dead. Let me tell you. For people who don't know what algorithm is, there is this. I'll try to explain it in a very simple layman term. हर जैसे जैसे I'll explain it in a very simple language. जैसे you must have heard of that song अपना टाइम आएगा, right, from Gully Boy. So हर प्लेटफॉर्म का एक टाइम है, हर प्लेटफॉर्म की एक रीच है, हर प्लेटफॉर्म की का एक यूजर बेस है, हर प्लेटफॉर्म की एक एक स्पेशलिटी है. When I talk about YouTube, I don't want to read long articles. I want to watch a video. That's why YouTube is famous for. When I go on Facebook, I might read a long article. I might only see pictures. I might see video content. I might see meme content, right? So meme content is one content that's on the rise right now. You might create memes. If you think you're funny, create a meme page and start creating content. You never know. You have 50,000 followers on your meme page, and then you might get brands on board, right? So it totally depends on what you're good at. If you're good at, say, meme content, if you think you're funny enough, don't take your mother's word to it because mummy मेरे को बोलती ना अरे तुम बहुत funny है, तुम बहुत funny है. No, don't take your, in this regard, don't take your mother's advice because she will always look for the best in you. But talk to friends, and ask them ask them for good feedback, ask them for positive feedback, and then think whether what you're good at. So if you think you're funny, create a meme page, start creating meme content on Facebook and on Instagram. That will create a huge user base for you. If you think you're good at speaking on video, speaking on camera, start creating daily videos. TikTok is on an all-time high. There is this misconception that TikTok is only about dance videos and only about mimicking artists and all of that. No, I also had that misconception before I entered TikTok. Now that I'm on TikTok creating content, I know that I'm very inconsistent on TikTok. But with regard to creating content, it's not only about videos. It's about what you're comfortable in. One, there could be a lot of formats. One is video. The second is audio. You can simply record whatever you're saying and put it as a podcast on Spotify or iTunes or a lot of other audio platforms. With regard to, if you think you're funny, then create a meme page and start creating memes, right? Creating memes and handling a meme page, owning a meme page is legit a career right now. A lot of people's careers are thriving on memes. We're living in the 21st century, so all of this is possible right now. So I think so to finalize, I think whatever you're comfortable in. If you're comfortable in video, go ahead in video. If you're comfortable in audio, go ahead in audio. If you're comfortable in music, singing, dancing, acting, whatever you're comfortable in, just find whatever you're comfortable in and start creating content, not necessarily video content.
So
I think that answers the question.
Rohan wants to ask, what are your views on clickbait thumbnails?
Rohan, it seems that you're totally into content nowadays. But with regard to sorry?
Yeah, that's quite evident. Sorry, please.
That's quite evident because if you're using terms like thumbnail and clickbait content, it's quite evident that you're into content nowadays. That's good. That's good for you, man. Firstly, my view on clickbait, I don't know, man, because again, you might see a video on YouTube saying press this to get motivated, and you might see a complete opposite video, right? I'm not in favor of clickbait. I'm in favor of cliches. There's a difference, right? If you ask me as a content creator, what do you prefer? Would you prefer creating videos on cliche topics, or do you prefer creating videos on a topic and then giving a clickbait thumbnail to it? I'll prefer creating videos on a cliche topic because cliches work, and that is why they are cliches, right? Because they work. A lot of content is already there in the market. So I think with regard to clickbait, there are a lot of clickbait videos, but the genuine ones will not put clickbait thumbnails. Whatever genuine content creators you see, whether it's if you talk about Indian content creator, it could be technology or mostly same be unique, Mumbai ka Nikhil, Gaurav Taneja. It could be anyone. So they don't use clickbait thumbnails, right? They might create topics on cliches. They might not use clickbait thumbnails. So there's a difference. I support cliches. I don't support clickbait thumbnails. So yeah.
So, Pradyum wants to ask, is it okay to recreate the content of someone else in a language it's not present? So, like in the Indian YouTube scenario, even I have seen many Hindi YouTubers coming up with content that is already available on YouTube in English language, published by some other YouTubers. So, do you
Right.
think that is a valid thing to do?
See, Shubham, I think anything is valid when you start creating content. Whatever is good for your channel, you think if you're very desperate enough to simply create content and deviate from your niche, and just if you just want to simply create content, you will do whatever the hell you want to. You will do whatever the hell you see is viable for your content. But if you say, for example, have a niche, if that's your niche, why not? If that's your niche, if you think that there is a video in a Spanish language, and if you think that needs recreation, I don't think any video that's in a different language needs recreation in a vernacular language that can be used for all of us. Because, for example, you might talk about a topic, and that topic will definitely be there either in English or in Hindi. ऐसा नहीं है कि इंग्लिश में है तो हिंदी में नहीं है वो कंटेंट. डिफरेंस इन क्वालिटी हो सकता है. You might see different points in the Hindi video as compared to the English video, but you will not. There'll hardly be a time when you see that there's no vernacular content as compared to the English content that's available. So I think if you're desperate enough to create content to get views and generate views for your for your channel, I think you may go ahead. There's no harm in it. But if you stick to your niche, if my niche is I create thought-provoking content for the youth of the country, it could be dealing with stereotypes. It could be dealing with poetry. It could be dealing with my speaking engagements. It's about me. I'm sharing my journey. I'm sharing what I strongly feel. And if you strongly relate to what I feel, then you will join my journey. Otherwise, why the hell will you do that, right? So I think it's fairly simple to say whatever helps you, whatever niche you followed. And there is no limit to content, right? If you think that comedy, हम comedy के बारे में सोचा था, and now I cannot think about comedy, and the only thing I can think of is recreating a video in a vernacular language, right? That's not the case. If you're desperate enough for views and for content, you might do whatever the hell you want to. But if whatever your niche is, follow your niche. You might be inconsistent like I was rather, but don't deviate on a different niche. That's what I'd suggest. Deviate again. There's one more point. Deviate on a niche if you think that's not working for you. For example, when I started creating videos, I experimented, and this is one thing I wanted to put it out there. When you start creating content, don't stick to just one piece of content. So you think that whatever you feel will work. When I started creating content, I thought this will work. But जब मेहनत किया वो वीडियो पे मेरे को पता चला कि वो वीडियो चला ही नहीं, right? So never underestimate your audience. Let the customer decide. I might be apprehensive of putting out one video on Instagram or on YouTube saying अरे यार चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा मेरे को पता नहीं, should I upload this? But after you upload the video, you will see that video has bombarded with views and comments, and all of the people are appreciating you putting out that video. So never underestimate the customer and never speak for the customer. Let the customer speak to you, and then create content that the customer wants out of you, because they are the ultimate consumers of the content. So yeah, I think that answers your question.
Okay, so our next question is from Kanch Shrikant. Which platform provides better facilities to content creators?
I'd like some more clarity on the question. What do you mean by facilities here?
I think he might be talking about, the returns that you get, like maybe some money from AdSense or, the viewer insights. How much help do you get from these platforms? As a content creator, how
Okay.
much do they support you?
Okay. I think with regard to content creators, there are a lot of platforms that provide a lot of value. It solely depends on what you want to create and where you want to upload. There's one myth about content creators that I'd like to debunk here is that people think that content creators it's just about creating content. It's just about thinking about a video and uploading it. No, it's not about thinking of a video and uploading it. It's about the distribution. It's about the pre-production, thinking about what you want to firstly create, and secondly, post-production. Whether you want to focus on quality, whether you want to focus on audio, whether you want to focus on video, whether you want to focus on lighting, whether if it's not video, if it's audio, then which platforms you want to distribute your video, or which platforms you want to distribute your content. It could be Spotify, it could be YouTube, it could be Instagram, it could be Quora. Quora is one place. I see one question about Quora as well. So Quora is one platform where you can start building a brand, right? Quora is one. So that there could be Quora works in a way that as soon as you make your profile, you see that there are a lot of topics you need to choose, and you will get questions on the basis of those topics. So it's completely your choice what topic to choose and how do you plan to answer that, right? So with regard to all of this, I think there are all the platforms, you need to convert your personal account to a business account. With regard to Instagram, there are three types of accounts: individual, business, and creator. If you're thinking of if you start thinking of starting as a content creator, switch to a creator account. That will provide you a lot of insight. With regard to if you're talking about facilities with regard to making money, then any content, any type of facility, when you have a good reach, you might then tie up with the YouTube partner program helps you give the money, and secondly, there'll be a lot of brands that will come on board with regard to the content that you're uploading. So if it's something like that you want to, if you're talking about platforms, that there are a lot of platforms, just switch to the business account, for example, Facebook, so that you can run ads and promote to a wider audience. And if you're talking about the facilities with regard to making money, then I think as soon as you when you have a good user base, then you have a lot of videos that people can watch. Then I think people know that he's a genuine content creator, not someone who's very inconsistent. So yeah, I think that answers your question. Is there any question regard to Quora? Yeah, go ahead.
On Quora, Amol Jain wants to ask, what are your views on Quora? Don't you think Quora partner program has ruined it?
Thank you so much, Amol. I am not too active on Quora, to be very honest, and I have not explored that platform very much. I have answered a few questions on Quora. Unfortunately or fortunately, I do not know. I can take only first half of that question. I cannot take up the second part because I don't have any idea about the Quora partner program. So I'm sorry if I'm not aware of that. Regarding the first part, what are your views on Quora? I think absolutely. If you think you're someone who's good at writing, if you think you're someone who's good at providing information about a particular topic, so Quora works in a very simple way. When you create your Quora account, Quora asks for the topics that interests you. So if it's cricket, if it's Bollywood, if it's Hindi music, whatever it is, you search for those topics, and only the questions related to those topics will come in handy. And one good thing that you can do with regard to Quora is that if you are or rather not only with Quora, with anything, as a general content creator, you can do cross branding. So for example, if you are someone who's good at video, right? So you upload the video on, for example, say YouTube, right? Your macro piece goes out on YouTube. Macro piece essentially means the full video. For example, if it's a 10-minute video, the full 10-minute video goes out on YouTube, and then you can divide the 10-minute video into 5 videos of 2 minutes each, and then redistribute that piece of content on, say, Instagram, on, say, Quora. On, for example, there is a speaking engagement where you've spoken for like an hour. 1 घंटा का तुम्हारा speech है, and you've recorded the entire thing, right? Upload the entire video on YouTube and take bits and parts of that and upload it on Instagram or on Quora and redistribute wherever you think it's required. Okay, so I think redistribution is one thing that That's one thing. Quora, you can definitely redistribute content. And secondly, you can definitely build a personal brand, answering people's questions and clarifying people's queries. I'm sorry, I don't know about the Quora partner program.
Okay, so Amrit Dash wants to ask, how do I make sure that I do not have any copyright strikes from YouTube while starting out to create content?
Amrit, thank you so much for the question, buddy. With regard to copyright strikes, there are already certain guidelines, certain community guidelines that YouTube has specified. You can read that on the YouTube Partner Program and YouTube guidelines. You will get to know it there. Um, just content. So there are two things with regard to copyrights. One is copyright strike, and the other one is copyright claim. With regard to copyright claim, so if you go and look at PewDiePie's content, I think almost all his videos has copyright claims. So copyright claims essentially means that the video that has a copyright claim, will not be able to be monetized. You will not be able to earn the money that YouTube gives you on the CC marked video, the copyright claim marked video. But with regard to copyright strike, if you have 3 strikes on your channel, your channel can be banned for life. So a strike is a dangerous thing, but copyright claims is not very dangerous. But make sure to read the YouTube community guidelines before starting out as a YouTube content creator.
Okay, so Akash Sharma wants to ask if you have heard about the YouTube channel Flying Beast. Why do you think he is getting so many of views recently? Is that type of content the next big thing on YouTube?
Thank you so much, Akash. Akash seems very interested in, I think, becoming a content creator. So I think with regard to Akash, I've also been following Flying Beast channel on YouTube. With regard to vlogs, I think if vlogs is something that interests you, I think you should start creating. So there are a lot of vlogs with regard to you can be a travel vlogger, you can be a lifestyle vlogger. For example, lifestyle with regard to lifestyle vlogs. If I consider lifestyle vlogs in this scenario, you might feel that abhi to lockdown hai, you're not being able to go outside. So how much content will you be able to churn out? But look at Flying Beast. He's churning out content almost every day. And why is he successful? Because firstly, he's been very consistent with the videos that he's producing. Secondly, people like the way he portrays on camera. Right? He's very natural. He's very candid. He doesn't have to get ready all the time. He doesn't have to comb his hair all the time and look a certain way. He's very candid. He's very natural with his approach. So whenever you think that Gaurav Taneja or for any for a fact any creator, if you think that type of content is working, I think it totally depends on how consistent you are and the type of content you are doing. For example, lifestyle vlogger, jaisa maine kaha, if you're a lifestyle vlogger, if you think you want to create lifestyle vlogs on your channel, you might feel demotivated in this current scenario because now you cannot go outside. But take inspiration from Gaurav Taneja, right? Create content sitting at home and do whatever the most you can, right? With regard to, I don't know if it's the next big thing on YouTube. Lifestyle vlogging is something that's been going on. I also create travel vlogs whenever I travel, whatever travel videos I've traveled. I've tried to capture that part of the location that I've traveled to. So not recently, 2 years back, I was in Singapore. So I have that Singapore vlog on my channel. I have the Run of Kutch Gujarat vlog on the channel. So yeah, I've got a lot of travel vlogs on the channel as well. So travel vlog is something that's pleasing to the eye, to be very honest. मतलब देख के भी अच्छा लगता है ना कि कितना अच्छे से बनाया गया है and all of that. So I think I don't know whether that type of content will work on YouTube, but solely people follow you, right? People don't follow if you're wearing an Armani jeans or wearing a black t-shirt, a branded t-shirt, that's gonna work. No, people follow you. What you say is what people follow, people like. So if you're saying something that people are liking, that will follow. I think just put out good content, people will follow. That's one thing that I've learned in these 2 years of content creation. I think that answers your question.
Okay, so Snigdha wants to ask, the reach seems to vary based on the content type and region. Could you give a further insights on that?
All right, Singda, ये तो एकदम बेसिक चीज है. मतलब I think this is pretty basic with regard to the reach, because अगर मान लो कोई एक informative video है, and if there's a comedy video, and if it's a poet, and so there are two types of videos. ठीक है, अगर हम मान लो in this scenario, if there's a comedy video and there's a video on, say, informative video. I'm giving some information about a particular topic, and there is a comedy video. What do you think? Which of the two will work better? Most likely, given situations, the comedy video, right? You will because you relate to it. You know that type of video works better, and that in some way is relatable to you. You might have felt whatever the comedian is saying, and that's why that works for you, right? So with regard to content, I think experimentation is one thing that you have to do. When I started creating content, again, I'll share the screen once again, Shubham, so if you can take care of it.
Yeah.
So Snigdha, I'll just give you an example with regard to creating content. When I started creating content, this was the first video I did, Mythbusters and more, the channel trailer, right? This might, again, so with regard to, say, or let's take this example, 5 myths about India, no national language and more, right? You might think this will work, but it doesn't. It didn't, right? It just has 100 views. On the other hand, when I tried poetry, when I tried poetry, this has 50,000 views. Again, this is also a poetry video. So Zinda Ho Tum, I recreated this version of the original Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara ka jo monologue tha by Farhan Akhtar. I recreated that and made a poem. So this has 3K views. And then, so you have to experiment with content also. You cannot be like, that, what one type of content will work for you. One type of content never works for anybody. You, in any type of content creator, you will go, kisi ke bhi channel pe jaake dekho, they've experimented. Whether it's vlogs, Bunic has now has a vlog channel, right? A lot of people who are Bunic fans here will know that Bunic has a vlog channel now. So I think experimentation and trying, exploring topics that you think will work is something that you need to do.
Okay, so Saswat has a interesting question for you. How do you get to know which social media would be right for the content you're pushing out? For example, right. Instagram, Twitter have very different dynamics.
Okay, as I mentioned right now, for example, every social media platform has a different algorithm to it. For example, as I mentioned, that you could have a macro piece of content. For example, you could have a 20-minute video. You can redistribute. So you will have to understand the psyche behind it, right? It's not very simple. You will have to understand the psyche behind you will have to understand the human psyche, right? For example, understand this one thing. Where do people prefer watching long videos? YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook? YouTube, essentially, right? People will not, because Facebook you will find a lot of relatable content. There's a lot of distraction to it. You can find written content, you can find music and all of that. But when YouTube में सिर्फ videos है. If you are on YouTube for a specific purpose, you will watch the entire video no matter what. For example, this live session. This is a live of approximately an hour. If people want to get value out of this live, they will watch the entire session on YouTube. But if you think that you're speaking on, for example, you're speaking on startups, and there's this one topic that you feel is necessary, this one particular specific topic you think requires specific attention, just take out that part and redistribute that on Instagram. Take out that simple part and redistribute the same on Facebook, because Facebook's and Instagram's algorithm is very different from YouTube's algorithm. It is simply because you need to understand the human psyche behind it. लोग बोलते हैं कि यार content creation is very easy, यार video सोचने में क्या बड़ा बात है, anybody can think about a video and start creating videos, right? So when you enter this YouTube game, you will understand how consistent you need to be, number one. Number two, you need to think about the distribution strategy. Where do you want to distribute, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Snapchat, where, right? So I think YouTube works best for long videos, and Facebook works for shorter videos. Essentially, the ideal watch time for people is 2 minutes. So if you're posting short videos on Facebook and on Instagram, people might watch shorter videos on Facebook and Instagram. Now Instagram allows longer videos like IGTV, so you can upload longer format videos as well. But initially there was this restriction. So right now shorter videos on Facebook and Instagram, because people want to watch, people are scrolling, right? But with regard to Instagram, with regard to Facebook, and with regard to YouTube, longer format works better. I think that answers your question.
So, Viswarup wants to ask, how do you keep yourself motivated and be consistent, like when the initial enthusiasm fades?
Okay, thank you, Vishwarup, for the question. That's a lovely question. With regard to keeping myself motivated and consistent, there are friends who will abuse you on your face, saying that बड़ा तुम hero बन के content creation चालू किया था, अब क्या हुआ? Right? So I think listen to your friends. They will give you constructive criticism. I think, if I may put it that way, there might be friends who have not watched a single video of yours, right? But they might not tell you that they've watched your videos. But when you speak to them, they might be like, "Arey, ye video acha nahi tha, ye video ko aur better karo." Right? So I think simply what motivates me to be consistent enough is following the right kind of people. If you see my Instagram, or if you see my YouTube or whatever, my Facebook friends and my Instagram following and all of that, and my real life friendships are very spread out. I don't want negative people in my life, which is why my TED talk was on my second TED talk in Calcutta was on how your environment creates an impact. Everybody is motivated to do whatever they want to do, but it's the environment that creates an impact on whatever you want to do. So I think following the right kind of people, having the right kind of mentality is more important. And there'll be friends who will abuse you and tell you that you're not consistent enough, so why are you not uploading content? So I think my friends keep me motivated. Also, the environment is one thing that I'm very specific about. So yeah.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Shubham.
What are your tips for SEO, search engine optimization, on your content?
Yeah, Shubham, firstly, I am not a digital marketer, so I won't be able to say much about SEO. But I'm aware of SEO. I'm aware of search engine optimization. What do you want to know specifically about SEO? Because there's a lot that can be delved into.
So, like, if I put up a video of a car flying in the air, so and I
Right.
want, so if a person searches on Google for a car flying in the air,
Got it. Okay. So again, as I mentioned, it's not only about the kind of videos you create. You might create the best of the best video, quality perfect hoga, video perfect hoga, audio perfect hoga, and all of that. But still, it might not reach the right people, right? So for this, I think you need to make full use of Google AdWords. Go on Google AdWords and start creating more and more. Explore that bit. Go on Google AdWords. Go on Keyword Planner, and then start exploring new keywords. When you start exploring new keywords, just see, this is a secret trade tip that I'm giving you guys. So I'm not charging for the trade tip that I'm giving here. I hope you make full use of this one. Just go to Google AdWords, go to Keyword Planner, go to view new keywords, search for the keyword that you are planning to make a video on. For example, you are saying stars. For example, stars in the sky. So you want to see how many videos are there. So there's there are two columns. One is volume, the other one is competition. The volume needs to be high, the competition needs to be low. Right? Volume मतलब कितना content already available है in this जो tagline तुम डाला है on the search bar, वो tagline के basis पे कितना content already available है on YouTube and on Google overall. So the volume needs to be high. Also not very high. It cannot be in a range of 10K to 100K. It cannot be in a range of 100K to 1 million because that's too much volume. Your video might not reach the desired customer. Similarly, if it's in the range of 100 to 1K, or if it's in the range of 1K to 10K, it'll work wonders for you. So go to Google AdWords, go to Keyword Planner, go to search new keywords, filter your keywords, you'll see the two columns. One is volume, the other one is competition. High volume, low competition, and then put that title and work on SEO that way. I think that works. That will work.
I think we'll take the last question for today. Amol Jan wants to ask, what, according to you, is the best monetization method?
Amol, monetization method is fairly simple. There are a lot of so if you want to get monetized specifically through YouTube, I think it's the YouTube Partner Program. So there are specific rules with regard to whether you want to get how your videos will be monetized. Number one, there are certain criteria. You need to have 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months, 1,000 subscribers in the last 12 months, and you're good to go. And then you can apply for monetization. For example, you might have 100K subscribers and you might still not have 4,000 watch hours. That's also possible. So that way you are not eligible for the YouTube Partner Program. But on a similar fashion, you can get brands on board. You can pitch to brands saying that I am willing to make a video on for you for free for the first 5 months or 4 months down the line. If you like my work, I'll then start charging for you, right? So there are a lot of monetization ways. This is a whole new topic altogether. We can delve into that some other day for sure. I'm willing to do that for you guys for some other day. But right now there are two monetization methods. One is the YouTube Partner Program, which has a lot of criteria. There's a lot of eligibility criteria. Second is brands. You can work with brands. Reach out to them on Instagram DM. Reach out to them on their Facebook profiles and email them saying that I'm willing to work for free for the first 2 months. If you like my work, I can go ahead and work for you on a full-time basis, or I can also freelance. So I think these are some best monetization methods one can use as a content creator.
Okay, so that sums up the questionnaire part of our webinar. Really, I would like to thank you from the whole DSC KIIT team.
Shubham, just give me a moment. I'll just see if you've got any important question that needs to be answered. I'll answer that in the next 2 minutes, and then we can wrap it up. So, yeah, let's see. Aman Sahu is saying, were you sad on? Yeah, go ahead.
If anyone has important questions to ask, this is the time.
All right. So if anybody's got any questions, just put them in the comment section. All right. There's one question says by Aman Sahu. He's saying, were you sad on hearing Daily V won't be daily anymore? Absolutely, man. Being a huge Gary V fan myself, I can understand how important his content is for me, for my motivation, and for also to get inspired from his work, and also to see what kind of content he's doing. So I was a little sad, but then you need to revamp your strategies whenever you feel that's necessary. If you think that daily V, instead of daily V, you should do weekly V, or a monthly V, or a yearly V, you should do that. We can take 2 more questions and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, so Amol Jan had a question. What are your views on
Amol Jain seems to be very interested in Tanmay Bhatt's channel. So am I. देखो ऐसा है, I personally do like Tanmay Bhatt's channel. I've been following Tanmay Bhatt. His rise has been fantastic. After AIB, after stepping aside from AIB and working on his content. Sorry.
After all he's been through.
After all he's been through is a good way to put it. After all he's been through, now that he started creating content individually, he's doing some fantastic work. He was standing at 300K subscribers a few months back. He's crossed 950K. So it's just a matter of time as to how consistent you are and how funny you can be. He's got the liberty to say whatever he wants to say on camera. He can abuse on camera. He can do whatever the hell he wants to do on camera. That's his complete choice. That's his complete liberty that he wants to do. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Tanmay Bhatt's channel. I think he's super funny. I do get a lot of laughs when I see his content, but I cannot do that because I have some reservations with regard to using abusive content. So I have not done that, and I don't plan to do that. But yeah, I like Tanmay Bhatt's content as well. So yeah.
So Sam, now I have a question for you. How to grow as a tech channel? I guess.
This is difficult. I don't I don't know, man, because I don't use a tech. I'm not a tech channel. I'm not working on a tech channel, so I don't know whether how you can work on a tech channel. Because if you ask me, who do you look forward to when you want something, want advice on tech, then there is this one creator from the West. He's called MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's beautiful. With regard to tech channel, if you want inspiration to create tech content, take inspiration from Marcus Brownlee. MKBHD is one channel I totally support. So yeah, these are some of the few questions. If you so again, delving into personal brand, I'll just wrap it up in the next 30 seconds. With regard to, if you think that I have not answered personal brand questions, I know that there are a lot of people who will say कि यार personal brand के बारे में तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं, YouTube के बारे में बोल के चला गया. So as a YouTube creator, I have to take care of a lot of aspects, because this might result in a lot of unsubscriptions from my channel. So I too take care of a lot of these things. With regard to personal brand, guys, I think it's very simple. I think Amrit has also mentioned, sir, could you please let us know a little about what stage should I consider myself as a personal brand? I think as soon as you start creating content, you should definitely start looking at building your personal brand. If you think that what essentially is a personal brand, so if you think of Shah Rukh Khan, what do you think? It's acting, right? So he has a personal brand of himself. So if you think of personal brands. Don't think of corporate brands. Think of individualistic personal brands. If you talk about digital Pratik, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Digital marketing, right? When you think of Gary Vee, what do you think? It's entrepreneurship, startups, motivation, his wine library businesses and all of that, right? If you think of Technical Guruji, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The tech channel, right? So all of these things, these are things that they're passionate about. This comes from a space of passion, and this comes from a space of mindset. If you think you're something you can speak about something you love. If you think you can speak about something, you're very confident about speaking about something, or write about something for that matter. Just churn out as much content as you can, because it's the 21st century right now. If you're not making use of social media to create a brand of ourselves and do something of our own, then we're simply wasting this one hell of an opportunity. Right now, abhi lockdown hai, right? Who knew I could give a speaking engagement online, right? I usually do speaking engagements. I'm missing the stage badly, right? I'm missing the mic in my hand on the stage, standing on that stage badly. But I can't do that anymore, right? So I think it's that push that gives you, and the social media is one thing that will drive you. If that's something that's not motivating you right now, I don't think what will. Probably that's not something that interests you. So I think that's it for today's session. I hope you found it informative.
Yeah, me and the DSC KIIT team are really thankful to have you here. We've seen you sweat for an hour. Your AC didn't working, but you.
My AC.
Yes, that's a really
I could have sat in the different room, but ये room का ना setup काफी अच्छा है. मतलब table है, so I can sit here and concentrate. Also, this is my video creation room. So if you see, I have this wall where
nice.
Yeah, the background is there. So I usually sit here and create most of my content. So that's why I thought, कोई बात नहीं करते, let's do whatever. So thank you for having me, Shubham.
Thank you, and guys, check out his social media handles on the description box below. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Shubham. Last, a very mandatory thing for me to do. As a YouTube content creator, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. My channel's name is Deepak Pareek. If you can write it down in the comment section, that would be great. Goes by my name, Deepak, DEEPAK. So my YouTube channel is Deepak Pareek. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and all my. Yes. So do follow me on Instagram if you think my content. If you think you like my content. My Instagram ID is DKPRWK, as you mentioned. It's in the description box, so check it out. If you think you like my content, just give it a follow. If not, just send me a DM how I can improve my content. Thank you so much for having me, Shubham and Amrit. Shubham, you've been a great host, and Amrit, thank you for coordinating from day one. Amrit is the one who coordinated with me from day one.
He's our coordinator. He's been with us all this time behind the scenes. So yeah, thank you, Amrit.
Right. So thank you, Amrit, for the coordination, and thank you, Shubham, for being a good host. Till then, stay connected, and hoping to be a part of such sessions in the coming days as well.
We hope to talk with you more on things as well. See you.
Yes.